Tomorrow will be a key day in the criminal case against Bill Cosby.
Cosby's lawyers will go before a judge in Montgomery County, and they will argue the charges against him should be dropped. Their argument centers around a supposed deal made with prosecutors back in 2005. They say Cosby agreed to testify in a civil lawsuit, and in exchange, that testimony would not be used to pursue criminal charges. Listen to what the former district attorney told NBC10 last year.
Created the scenario where he would have to answer questions under oath. And obviously they got the information that they needed, and she was compensated monetarily.
Well, we want to bring in our legal expert now, attorney Enrique Latoison.
Enrique, you heard what Bruce Castor just said, but he doesn't appear to have any agreement in writing. How unusual is it that there's nothing in writing?
Well, it's very unusual. This is basically what the argument is of the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office. They're basically saying, listen, an immunity or an agreement not to prosecute is done in a very specific way, needs to be in writing, needs to be signed by a judge, and needs to be signed by the parties. District Attorney's Office is basically saying, you made the mistake of believing that you weren't going to be prosecuted just because you weren't being prosecuted currently. And now, of course, the Cosby camp is saying, listen, listen to what Castor said. Castor said that he created the scenario. So he put us in a position to rely on this. And he wanted for the civil case to be able to go forward. And we relied on it. We took what he said, and he is the actual district attorney. He's not an assistant district attorney. And because of what he said, we believed it, and we went on and we testified. He created this scenario, as he said, and the scenario went through.
All right, and the judge is going to hear directly from Castor tomorrow. Enrique, if this deposition is kept out of the case, could this case move forward anyway without it?
Yes, it could. Now, you still have the actual merits of the case. The judges has to make a determination of whether or not the deposition can be used as the prosecution in their case in chief. However, you have to remember, if Bill Cosby testifies and Bill Cosby says, listen, you know, I never used Quaaludes, or I never gave her drugs, or I don't know anything to do with any of this, the prosecution could still stand up and use his deposition as a prior inconsistent statement that he made under oath. They can impeach him on it. They can still cross-examine him on it. So either way, even if the judge says you can't use the statement in the prosecution's case in chief, it doesn't mean he can't possibly use it to impeach him if he says something different in his testimony.
Well, it'll be very interesting what a judge decides in tomorrow's hearing. Thank you, Enrique Latoison, for joining us.
And NBC10, of course, will be inside the courtroom for tomorrow's hearing. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates as we get them, plus full coverage on all of our newscasts.
And coming up next, NBC10 talks to Carly Lloyd live as she gets ready to receive another honor here in Philadelphia.